Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this semi-professional academic podcast. I just want to stay in that lavender haze, Jacob Watts. And joining me today is the funny, talented, my international travel gal pal, Alex Wible.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, Alex, welcome to the pod.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be on it. I feel so special.
Oh, yeah. It's a special way of working off her community service.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. I just want you all to know that like me and Alex have talked about doing an episode of the pod together for like what months at this point?
Yeah,
And it's always something like
literally always something.
literally like and it's not just one of us because if it was just me I'd have been like yeah I'm a mess or be like or if it was just Alex I'd be like girl like what's going on like are you friends, are you like giving me the soft ghost or like what's going on? Did I coin that term? I think I did.
Soft ghost, yeah.
I like that. I like giving myself more accomplishments than I actually have.
Created new vocabulary word. Got it.
Okay.
And it's your resume.
Creator of the English language. I'm kidding. No, on my resume, I have time person of 2009.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah, because everyone alive was the person of the year. So like, that's just on my actual resume. I swear to God, I applied to grad school with that on my
it's
resume.
true.
It's so true. I
It's a
mean, like,
lie.
as you should. Because I mean, what else is giving me an award? Why else? Gotta milk the ones you got. I love having conversations like this with Alex because she just supports the fantasy the whole time.
I'm a yes woman. That's what I've been telling people a lot lately. I'm a yes woman. Like you give me any like idea or just like statement that of as fact and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. This is it. Like for sure, for sure. And like anything spontaneous, anything out of pocket, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Sounds awesome.
Oh, girl, me too. Like, if someone hatches like the most wild, cuckoo, crazy plan, I'm a 100% down.
I'm always into it.
Yeah, you add logistics, I start getting talking out. But if you're like, hey,
Logistics stress me out.
yeah, if you're just like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna turn it, I'm like, perfect. I'll show up at 5.
Sounds great. Maybe 5:15. Give or take 15 minutes for me personally.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but like my ADD lately has just been kind of my ADD has me running late all the time, but like my whiteness also has me going early. So I'm either like 15 minutes early or 15 minutes late to everything. I'm never on time to anything.
Literally, I feel that I've never felt anything. I totally get that because it makes me anxious to be late, but I also can never remember like I ADHD for me, but like I have like such bad memory of like little things. Like I remember things about people, but when I'm trying to leave to go somewhere, the stupid things I have to put on my to-do list to do, it's like go in kitchen, open fridge. Like I have the dumbest things on my to-do list and I'm like forgetting things constantly. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Like I'm not gonna be there on time, but I have to do all these things. And then it's like 4:30 and I was supposed to be there at 4:15. I'm like, no, everyone hates me. This is the worst.
Literally, I just realized that I'm gonna be annoying one way or another. Like either I'm gonna be early or I'm gonna be late. Like there's no thing. Like I try so hard, but then like my anxiety gets me. You can be like, well, I can't be too early because then I look like a loser, but I can't be too late because then I look rude.
Nothing, no, it's never right. It's never right.
It's
Within
never
that,
right.
it's like everything I do is wrong. So who cares?
It's just different shades of wrong.
Exactly.
I'm gonna add that to my bio. Different shades of wrong. Uh,
I like another term. You're hitting it with the terms. Like,
I know
wow.
that
Thought-
English minor coming in handy, changing careers midway. Get ready to start PhD. Be like, never mind,
like,
linguistic.
I know I put all this effort into it, but listen to what I coined on my podcast. It's so easy.
The way my mother would just be so disappointed, just be like, why did you waste all this time?
The meme, I don't know.
Um, oh my God. I said do it for the meme in my class one day. And keep in mind, I was teaching like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 year olds.
Yep.
I said do it for the meme. No one knew what the fuck I was talking about.
They don't get it.
I know. And I thought it would be like, guys, like, you can tell me if I'm not funny, but like, please tell me no, you got this. And they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm just like, oh
Like
my God.
So I'm elderly. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I want everyone to know this is like a common conversation between me and Alex. We have like a million things to do, and then we're just be like, so let's talk about anything else.
Actually, though.
Um, but just a little bit of background for like my relationship with Alex. Alex was actually the first friend I made at undergrad.
Oh, sad. Sorry.
Did you
I
say
like
sad?
not sad. Not sad. Sad like that feels like so long ago. Like I I swear that was like a year ago, but when you look back at it, it was literally like 2017. That's not sad. Not sad like that.
Alex, you're the first friend I made.
Passage of
That's
time.
sad.
The passage of time is sad.
Oh my god, that was so funny. That was so funny. Oh my god. No, I think that was actually 2016. I literally think it was I
That's
literally,
worse.
that's worse. That was 7 years ago.
I hate that. No, that was 2 years ago. I refuse to believe anything
That
else.
was 2 years ago.
I'll give it 4 because sometimes I think it's 2020 still. So I'll give it 4 years ago.
The way
Not 7.
I'm getting to that point now where, oh my gosh, speaking of the passage of time, do you know like the Some Call It Magic, That's So Raven song?
I
That
actually
came out in 2006.
nope. It didn't. You know what else came out in 2006? The World Changing High School Musical. The second one came out August 17th, 2007, just in case you're wondering. And then the third one came out in 2010.
I can't deal with all these things like having these anniversaries. It's my fault. This came out 5 years ago.
2006. That's hurting my brain, actually.
I was 7.
Oh, nostalgia. Nostalgia hurts.
Nostalgia hurts so bad. Yeah, we're moving on.
It's painful.
Yeah. But no, Alex literally, I think we've just been friends like essentially like since we met, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. From the awkward, and I don't care who you are, meeting someone anywhere for the first time, there's some degree of awkwardness to it.
For sure. For
If
sure.
you're not, you're lying. And if so, and if you really think you weren't awkward, the other person hated you.
Right. You don't know social cues. If you think it wasn't awkward, then you don't pick up on social cues. So
Yeah. And I'm not talking like cringe awkward, but like just like that unfamiliar awkward kind of thing.
yeah, like you don't know like what kind of humor that person has. Like you don't know what like things they believe or support, and so you're like, oh, I need to be, what am I gonna say that is gonna make this like be middle of the road until we get to know each other? Like,
yeah, I'd be like, can't. It's, and I say this, but like whether it's friendships or where it's dating, you're slowly easing that person into your entire personality.
oh yeah.
You can't be like, hi, my name's Jacob, and at 3 a.m. I put on concerts to Taylor Swift in my underwear, thinking that I'm her opening act.
And then you're just like, yep, that's the first thing you know about me. And what do you want to go get to eat? Like,
And welcome to Hanover College.
not the tour, not the tour. No.
Oh my gosh, no. But I swear, like from that awkwardness, like mine and Alex's friendship has grown from like being classmates to briefly coworkers to international travel friends to me playing Cupid for her, and can I say, yeah, and regular Saturday night beverage companions.
Beverage companions. Ooh, getting in trouble for my sorority for posting a picture with a red Solo cup.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's like anything could be in that. She said, "No, you have to take that down. It looks bad." Who's looking at my Snapchat story?
We looked so cute though. Plus, it was on your private.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still mad about that. I don't even want to go into how many years ago that was.
I can't get over. I would not last 10 seconds as a sorority girl. I would not have it in me.
Many rules. So many rules.
And I just want to point out that, I mean, I get it. Like, women are judged to the unfair standards of misogyny in the patriarchy. So what I've said comes from a lot of privilege, but who cares? Who cares about a red Solo cup?
The point of a red Solo cup is you don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
Literally could have been anything. It could have been empty.
Yeah.
I could have been holding it just to give the appearance of having something.
Or
I
you
did
could have been
it.
holding
But I
mine.
didn't do that. It's a prop. I need a prop in a picture. I can't take a picture without a prop.
Fair. Sometimes the prop is the person.
I, Dylan is my prop, or my dog is my prop. I need something. I can't, like, what am I supposed to do if I'm standing for like?
Yeah, it can be a sunglass, it can be like a jacket, but there's gotta be a prop.
For sure. What
The
what
only
do I do with my hands?
you awkwardly vogue like you're doing right now.
So that Will Ferrell skit from SNL. I don't know if
Oh,
I'm allowed to say that on this. You have to cut it, but he's like, "What do I do with my hands?" That's how I
uh,
feel all the time.
oh my
Awkward.
gosh. Of course, I love and think about Alex. I like as a friend, but this time of year, like I definitely think more about you because this like our anniversary of our Ireland trip together. I say this like it's the two of us to get together. We literally studied abroad with like other people, but we were the
A
stars of the
whole
show.
group. Yeah, main characters for sure. Anyone
We,
that thinks really is wrong.
I mean, all the castles we have.
We own most of Ireland at this point, so
We had claimed so many castles because I mean, who else was going to claim them? One was literally abandoned. It's literally asking to be claimed.
seriously.
And one of the pressures would be like, now some people like to say like they own castles and claim them, and then me and Alex were literally in the second to last row, and we immediately were like, Emma Kate, how dare you?
So who did that? Who was that? Who's claiming castles? God, stupid.
So cringy. I mean, like, but if they did, I mean, like, no one else did it. Like, what, like,
If I did it first, then who's to say?
you can't outdo the doer. Like, I'm just saying.
Literally.
But, uh, but Alex, how have you been?
Well, end of the school year, 10 school days left, so that is good. I can't stop acquiring animals now that I have a house. Just bought a house in October, so of course the first thing I do is acquire more animals as one's climbing up here with me as I speak. And trying to wedding plan, but at this point I have to put it on pause until I get rid of the kids from the school year because it's just too much at once. It's a job. Planning a wedding is a job.
Oh, facts. Big facts. For those of you who don't know, Alex is engaged to her boyfriend of how many years?
Well,
Well,
our 4-year anniversary was in January.
yeah, 4 years. I went to school for biology, not math. But
That's crazy. Well, I mean, you're the catalyst of that too, which is so funny to think about, like me depressed on my bed. Come to this birthday party. I'm like, no, I'm not. Just come. It's the president of our frat. I don't know who that is. Don't this is my favorite story. I tell people this story all the time. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go. You're like, oh no, just for a little bit, just come. And I'm like, fine. So I go to this party and they have this slideshow of this man and there's a shirtless picture. And I'm like, wait. That who is that? You're like,
that is when she noticed
that's
his
the
great
person
personality from the
that,
picture.
and through those abs, I saw what a nice person he was. The abs are the window to the soul, as people say.
Include those in your vows, please.
We're coining that saying in front of his mom. And as everyone says, the abs are the window to the soul. That's it. But then you said
That's the word. That's the phrase.
you said, bitch, that's the person whose birthday party it is. I've been telling you that's who this is about. And I was like, great, where is he? I would love to meet this personality that I'm definitely looking at.
I'd love to meet this personality.
That's his face wasn't even in the picture.
I
Don't
mean,
tell him I said that.
girl, I picked the picture. I knew what I was working with.
I couldn't believe you got it because no one listening to this knows who Dylan is as a person. Dylan is not a person that's sending his ab pictures to the world. So
No, I want everyone to know that the only time Dylan is like ever like that, we had like a sprinkler event, like with like not sprinkler event, but like water gun event at the house, and he put a shirt on when we had people over and he was single. I was like, dude, like this is the time. This is the time.
This is your moment.
Yeah. But he's just like a very like modest, kind of shy guy.
Does not like attention at all. Me, on the other hand, I love attention.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
I was,
yin yang situation, if you will.
I know. And like I was running this play in my head because no offense to anyone, but I really am a mastermind. It's just like sometimes my plans take a few years to come out, but like they all do. And I felt bad for like half a second because I was like, I'm manipulating these two people to get what I want. And I was like,
Well,
and I was like, oh well. And I was like, if it doesn't work, great story.
we tried.
But look at where we are. Y'all are engaged, have a house, animals.
The whole 9 yards. I remember in Ireland, we had been dating for like 3-4 months, something. It wasn't long. We had not been dating long at all. And I was like, I'm gonna get lavaliered soon. And you guys were like, which lavaliered is like, the girl gets to wear the guy's fraternity letter is what it's like the engagement to the engagement. I don't even know. I'm like, can't wait to get lavaliered. And everyone's like, calm down. You literally just started dating. And I was like, well, we're gonna get married, so you can say what you want right now, but I'll show all of you.
It's like the promise ring of fraternities.
It is like the promise ring. That's exactly it.
New terms.
The third of it's been like what, 20 minutes or something. That's a lot.
I mean, Webster's been kind of dead since I said those things.
They haven't come back at me with anything, so I ruled the dictionaries now.
Charles Darwin's been quiet since I got into biology.
No. Oh my God.
Where was I? Oh yeah, humility and modesty.
The things Dylan teaches us, modesty, for sure.
I love telling this story because I mean, like, I love you guys, of course, but I also love me, and it's just highlights.
But more so, the star of the story, me.
It's just, this is gonna sound so awful, and I swear I mean this like in a nicer way.
Oh, no.
But I love being able to like directly make a positive impact in people's lives. And I was like, oh, this is my moment.
Yeah, here it is.
Because Dylan hadn't dated anyone in years.
Since his sophomore year of high school.
Alex was Alex.
Things had happened that Monday, literally less than a week before.
I was like, we're about to back fast.
So forget about that. Bury that. Deal with that later.
Yeah. Because I was like, okay, you've been sad for a week. It's time to move on.
Wait, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Four days I had been sad. He said, that's enough of that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was good that like you were processing and everything. I was like, okay, like, let's go. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of you being sad.
Like, I've been waiting for this to happen. So now that it has happened.
Yeah. So literally, and this is gonna sound so funny. I told Alex, I was like, yeah, we're inviting everyone over here. We did not invite everyone. I
Lie.
I saw my moment.
So the whole campus is gonna be there.
I was like, oh, we invited everyone, girl. It's gonna be like a primary. It, in fact, was not even a quaternary. But
it was good. There was a good amount of people that I liked. Like, there was like the fraternity guys, which I was friends with a good amount of them. And then it was like there was like a friend group of girls that was like friends with the guys. And it was a good amount of people to get me back out, in the world. And then I was quickly essentially wifed up again. So, it was like, this is my moment. Single me for one night and one night only. One night only.
oh, Mamma Mia.
Dylan saw his opportunity and said, we're not going to get this again.
I mean, like, to me, like, y'all make so much sense. So I was like, this is 2 + 2, 4. But I'm shocked to myself, be like, wow, I really did that. Like, good job, Jacob. Like, I had one chance.
At our wedding, they're gonna be like, does anyone have any objections? You're like, it's not an objection, but I just really want to say you're welcome for all of this. Like,
I want everyone to point out that people were getting their save the dates before me. And I literally for their wedding. And I literally was about to be like, did I not get invited to this
They
thing?
all got sent out at the same time. Yours just didn't get there. They all went in the mail the same day. Dylan took them to the post office.
No, but like I was thinking like, did I not get invited to this wedding? My first instant, like literally the first day they arrived, not like, oh, mine just might be coming, or oh, they're probably working on it alphabetically. Be like, they are plotting against me.
This is a whole thing. This whole relationship was a way to make me feel bad.
This was an
What do
attack
us
on my
for?
psyche.
My
Then I
God.
got it, and I was like, oh, great.
You're like, oh, the mail is slow sometimes.
And
That
now,
makes sense, but okay.
no, I still wasn't there yet. I would be like, I bet they detected my mental vibrations that I would make this wedding all about me.
Oh my God.
I mean, not really. I mean, that's too much work, and I'm tired. But
Weddings.
thought about that for a second. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, but again, congratulations on the engagement. Weddings in just a few months.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Like 4 months. No,
What?
4 months.
Oh, I said a few.
So much to do.
You send a group text, be like, "Hey guys."
You know what? Weddings are expensive, so anyone listening to this, I'm gonna create a GoFundMe and you can donate.
Dude, weddings are so expensive.
Stupid. Freaking! I also bought a house in October. The
Yay!
down payment to my house, not as much as the wedding. less, less than the wedding. Dylan, I tried to prepare him before we even got engaged. I was like, Dylan, this is the average price of a wedding in the United States. And he said, mm-hmm. And then we started booking things, and he was like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I told you months ago. I tried to prepare you in your mind for this. I don't think he's prepared still. I think it's still shocking to him. He's like, a photographer is that much? I'm like, it's 8 hours. What do you think?
In his head, he's probably thinking like, I'm gonna be different, not my wedding.
He said, yeah, sure. Us, however.
No. Oh, I honestly think I won't ever get married because I know I already have exactly what I want it to look like. I'm gonna want this, and this. I already have things I'll compromise on and things like I'll compartmentalize, but I have my hard nose.
The B list.
This is a lot of talk for someone who is chronically single.
It'll
And
happen fast when it happens. Like, it's gonna happen, and you'll be like, oh shit, like, wait, what? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, oh yeah. And like this is gonna sound so conceited, but like it's not from my lack of finding a man. It's just I don't want one.
No. And you don't that's the problem. Like, we're so young, and like, especially being like a teacher of 10-year-olds, I'm like, oh my God, I'm ancient. But like, really, we are so young. And like, there's that like wave of people that get married like the summer after college, which was last summer. Then there's a wave of people that get married like 2 years after college. And then there's like the rest of people that are more normal and get married like it doesn't matter. And it sounds stupid, but like, I was literally just having this conversation with someone. Like, we are not, our brains aren't even fully developed until 25. I'm 24 years old. Like, we are so young. We're babies. We are babies.
Yeah.
Like, people feel like in such a rush to get married. And like, speaking of someone that's getting married, but it's like, when you've been with someone for 4 years, it's like, I already know this is going to happen. So let's just do it.
Like what else?
Might as well buy a house, do the whole thing. But it's like, we're so young, and like, the age to do anything that was like back in the day, like the nuclear family stuff, where it's like, oh, you hit this age, you're 18, you better be finding your person. Like, as time goes on, the age gets like later and later because people are like, oh, that's how people get divorced. That's the problem, is we're all trying to get married at like when we're still babies. This makes sense now.
And that's another thing. Like people are at so many different phases of their life right now. I mean, like Alex is over here grading homework, and I'm the one turning in homework right now. So like, it's just, but I mean, I just especially feel like in nowadays, like in your 20s, I mean, like everybody's like going through like so many different things. I mean, like I mean, Alex got herself a little bit together. I mean, she's got a full ass job, a house, a fiance, a barnyard of animals, like and
Yep.
she's over here be like, "Oh, you don't need to do anything," as she is like literally like has like if it was a bingo card, she'd have bingo 5 ways to Sunday.
But my freedom aspect, I love my life. I wouldn't change anything, but I got fucking like my abilities to do things on a whim are slimmer and slimmer as the life goes on. You know what I mean? Like I not free to that sound really bad, but you know what I mean? Like I can't just like at a drop of a hat go like traveling, like because I have the 3 dogs, 2 cats, and foster animals in a home that I have to take care of. And so it's like sometimes I think about that and I'm like, damn, like I really had like a time where I could just be like, yeah, let me just go. Like, let me just do this. And now I'm like, oh no, like, wait, I need to board the dogs and I have to get a house sitter and I have to do all these things. I'm like, I really chose an expensive way of life right now.
Yeah,
Not, but yes, it's expensive to live right now.
yeah. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, but let's go ahead and take a little break.
Okay, sounds good.
And we are back.
Hey.
So,
I act like people can see me. I'm like, oh, let me do a little motion here. Hey.
no, because I do that too. I literally, oh my God. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I had a guest one time where I literally was like side eyeing the camera, like to a fake audience that was right here with me, and be like, can you believe this?
Kim from the office, like, go look at this guy.
Oh, that's how I want my wedding to be. Like
Yes.
me, enjoying the people around me, but also side eyeing when no one's complimenting me for 30 seconds. But Alex, we kind of like talked about like your career, but can you like maybe walk us through like a little bit of like how you got there? Like for the viewers who may not be as familiar with you, like where are you from? Like where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in Carmel, Indiana, which is like north of Indianapolis, like 45 minutes north-ish. And I I knew since like which it's funny. I knew since 4th grade that I wanted to be a teacher because of my 4th grade teacher, and now I teach 4th grade, which I taught 5th grade last year, but my 4th grade teacher is also my 5th grade teacher, so she loves that. She loves what I'm doing right now. But I don't know what it was about it. I know like that this isn't the same, but like I was always playing school like after school still, like with my older sisters and with my friends and stuff. And so I constantly was doing things like that. But then I like went on, and I think it helped that I have siblings that are significantly younger than me. My I have a sister that's 4 years younger on my dad's side, but on my mom's side, I didn't have a younger sibling until I was 8. And so like I did a lot of taking care of them and like kind of got to see how their education started. And I got a little bit of a behind the scenes on like the home life of seeing education in that way and being significantly older so I could comprehend. Like when I was 16, my sister was 8 and in 3rd grade. And so I like was getting ready to do my cadet teaching, and she was in the grade that I was getting ready to do my cadet teaching for. So I got a little bit of all sides of that. And my cadet teaching was great. I did it in 4th grade too, which is like it's like student teaching but on a smaller scale. So I guess I'm talking about that like people know what that is. But like cadet teaching is like your junior or senior year of high school, and you spend like Tuesdays and Thursdays you spend like 2 hours at a school and like shadow a teacher essentially. So it's like baby student teaching. And then you go and do student teaching when you're in college. But I went to college, Hanover College, you know, where we met. Cute. And it never changed. Like I think there was a moment where I was like, oh, do I want to do like psychology or sociology? But I was like, no, because I know I want to be in a school setting because I have so many adults that positively impacted my life when I was in the school system, and I knew like that's what I wanted to do. Like I had a counselor in middle school that really kind of saw me for who I was and understood that there was more to me than just my academic self, and there was a lot going on at home. and who like told me that they saw that, which was really helpful. That's kind of, it started like that with my fourth and fifth grade teacher too. Like once educators started seeing that like I was more than just their kid that's in the classroom for this many hours, I was like, oh my gosh, like look at how much of a difference that makes in me. Look at how much more that makes me want to learn for this teacher. Look at how much more that makes me care about who I am when I'm in this classroom. Like they are appreciating me and caring about what's going on after the hours of 3 o'clock. You know, they know that I have a whole other life that's going on. So that's kind of like, I wanted to be that um, for kids. And so there was that. And then going into college, it never changed. It's so funny that it's like from the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Like this is, there's no other option for me. And it wasn't in a way, I like hated when people said like, those who can't teach. I'm like, first of all, get out of my face with that because you have no idea what goes into this. But it's really for the people that like want to foster a love of education and then just like a caring of being a decent human as you go into the world. And I think all of that starts at a young age, and especially late elementary is when a lot of those developmental things and kids start forming opinions on things and they start forming like really what their personalities are. And so I get to see kind of that formidable age in those kids. But yeah, then I got to Hanover and graduated, and I did my student teaching in the district that I'm in right now, which is a district in Indianapolis. It's North Indianapolis, but not like downtown, but it's not up in the suburbs. And it's just a very, I know this is where I was meant to be. We're about a third Hispanic, a third Black, and then a third mix of lots of other things. And so it's a really diverse community of kids. There's a lot of different levels of need. There's a lot of different levels of socioeconomic status. We are a Title I school, which has to do with the amount of like free and reduced lunch we have, like free and reduced lunch that kids qualify for. And I always knew I wanted to be in a school like this because these are kind of, I don't know, I don't want to call it, these kids aren't needy. These kids are wonderful kids. Their parents are wonderful parents for the most part, but there is a lot of kind of inequality that goes into the kids that come into our school. And we get a lot put on us, things that we can't fix. A lot of times we can leave meetings that feel like it's calling us like, you know, oh, you need to watch your biases and like you need to make sure you're not being racist. And that's in fewer words than it's said to us. But it's like we see this whole like unequal system that's going on that's feeding into our kids. Like we're trying to fix everything where we are, but it's like, okay, I can't get my kid's parent to get equitable housing. I can't get my kid's parent to be hired for this job. And so it's very interesting seeing how much of that outside stuff plays into how a kid is doing in school. But I like seeing that. And I like being on the side of like being able to witness how much like goes into simply the learning of a younger kid. So yeah, I was fifth grade last year and I'm fourth grade this year, and I'm pretty set in where I am right now. I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon, which is good. It's a good feeling to know that I'm not looking for a change in career anymore.
Yeah. That's nice. Once you get like those roots like established, you kind of grow. And I think that's so amazing. And I think a lot of times people don't really, and by people, I mean people outside of the school system, don't really understand the impact that really being seen by an educator makes. Because I mean, like, yeah, you can perform well on an exam, well in a classroom presentation on the sports field, yeah, but like to be really seen as a person who in their entire humanity just there.
Yeah.
I think that's really special. And also for anyone who's saying that those who can't teach, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you have to be able to do the thing to be able to teach it.
Right. And like to know how to teach something is completely different than even like knowing how to do it. Like I know how to do, like decimals and fractions, but I'm like, how do I make this make sense for someone who, one, doesn't speak English, which is a problem we run into a lot. And two, like a kid who doesn't want to learn. How do I make them want to learn something like this, which is a whole other ball game than just being like, here's the step-by-step thing. It's like, oh, you'd rather throw your desk across the room. So let's problem solve that first and then get to decimals and fractions.
I mean, I this past year taught college age kids, and I'm not gonna lie, there were some times where I wanted to pull my own hair out at that. So like, but they kind of, not all of them, but some of them know how to act older than children, like you teach. So like, I can't imagine just all that. But yeah, if anyone with any power influence is listening to this, I mean, besides me and Alex, uh, pay teachers more. Just pay them what they're worth, because criminally underpaid right now.
Yeah.
I will say that till the day I die.
It's so hard because a lot like, and I fully can't, I wish that everyone could like be a teacher for a day and fully have to like not a sub, because when you're a sub, you don't actually have to do all the things that a teacher has to do.
Facts.
Not saying it's not hard, because it is, but not the same. Like
Mhm.
I wish that they could just like be in my mind for a day, because it's like you have no idea everything that goes into it. And then it's like I'm performing essentially from 7:50 until 2:50, and it's like I don't have time in that time to prepare for my performance, meaning my teaching. So like those are the times I get paid for. Then before or after school, I have to actually like get everything ready and do all the things and contact the parents. Like most of my job happens outside of when I'm paid. And it's like people don't get that. And they're like, oh, teachers get summers. It's like, yeah, because I'd quit if I didn't get summers. Like I literally would not survive if I didn't get a 2 month break where I could actually like exist in life.
Yeah, but you don't even get paid for that. Like you have to split up your paycheck to get paid over the summer, which I think a lot of people don't realize.
Right. It's like, okay, I make this much a year. And it's like, oh, you get paid throughout the summer. Okay, but you should see what my paycheck is every 2 weeks, because it's not livable. Like, thank goodness I'm engaged in getting married to someone who somehow is in the medical field and works at a school and now makes what I make. So I'm like, I don't know how I got that working out for me. But like, it's if I didn't have a dual income, like I couldn't, not that there's nothing wrong with this at all, but like I would still be living at home. Like I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now and like be preparing for a wedding if it was just me. There's no, it's not livable. And so that's really sad, because even if I didn't get paid throughout the summer, it's still not super livable. And then I don't get paid throughout the summer. Like I have to choose to just divide it up among, 27 weeks or 22 weeks. And it's like, 27, because I'm not going to not have any money over the summer. It's crazy.
Yeah, just a lot of people who don't know about the education system. And I say that from like someone who's literally had family as vice principals, superintendents, counselors, teachers. Like no one gets paid enough at all.
Yeah.
Um, but this is gonna be like a little bit weird, but like have you found things that you wish you had like when you were going through the school system and like now you're kind of getting a chance to maybe build upon those to create better opportunities for other kids or kind of like avoid those like mistakes that past teachers made? Like not saying like teachers are bad or whatever, but I mean like hindsight's 2020, so you get to like literally see how that played out and like improve upon.
Right. Well, and that's how, like, honestly, like as a society or just us, we get better and better because, you know, my teachers and most of my teachers did the absolute best they could, but there was still, issues with the school system or issues with what was going on with the curriculum or whatever. And so, like, then, they teach our generation and then we learn and then we teach and then the generation that I'm teaching is going to learn from us. And so, that's just kind of the whatever about how society works. But there were definitely some teachers that, like, the whole very strict deadline thing for assignments. And I especially think about it when I was like in middle school, which I don't teach middle school, but I teach upper elementary. And so my kids are headed to middle school. I mean, I was a fifth grade teacher last year, so they were headed to middle school the year after. And it's like, sometimes I would have teachers that it's like, okay, well, if it's not in by 11:59 at this night, then an F. And it's like, well, that doesn't reflect how the student's performing academically. And like, yes, most of the time when my kids turn in things late, it's because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like most of the time that's the case. But then you have the rare, not super rare, but like the less often times where kids are not turning things in or not getting things done because of everything that they have going on at home. And it's like some of my teachers didn't have the kind of thought process to think about that. And like I was that kid a lot of the times that like had so much going on that it was just like I literally I can't do this right now. Like even if I wasn't busy, like my brain was just too busy to get something done and I could not focus on something. And so now I have just a policy where it's like, I mean, if you don't turn it in on time, it's going to be marked as a not handed in, but you can turn it into me. Like whenever you turn it into me, that's fine. And I let my kids redo assignments until they get a grade that they want, because it's like you're working towards mastery. And so I'm not being a good teacher to you if I'm just saying, well, you got a D on this and that's that. Like, no, we're going to work on this until you get at least an A or at least a C. Like you can get an A if you want, but like if you're failing it, essentially, I'm not doing my job, you're not doing your job. Let's work together to get you to understand this concept. So that didn't happen a lot when I was younger.
That's so cool. And like I just like want to stress, like I'm not like saying like, oh, the teachers before us were bad, but like you
No.
just you just get a better understanding once you've been through it and like you find ways to improve upon. And like people are out here trying our best. I mean, like I'd say that to anybody. And like just kind of echo what you said, Alex, like you get better with time, figuring out what works, what worked before, but like might need tuning now. And like I just think that I don't know, I think that's like very powerful, like saying like, listen, we did the best that we could with what we had at the time. Let's try something else to see if this can help better.
Yeah.
I
And
love that you're doing that.
mental health too is just more talked about. And so even, I mean, it feels like a long time that I was in fourth grade, but speaking as a whole, it wasn't that long ago that like we were in elementary school and no one talked about anxiety. No one talked about depression. There was not in school counseling services. And now we have in school counselors, we have our social worker that my social worker sees 4 or 5 kids in my class weekly, which for one class in a whole school, that's a lot of kids for my social worker to see. And it's like, they don't have to fill out any specific form. Like if a kid needs to talk to someone, she's going to talk to them. Then aside from her, we have in school counselors and we speak openly about having anxiety. We speak openly about depression. We speak openly about those things. And so kids are just being viewed more holistically in general. And it's like, that's where we ride the really tough line of like, that's a really awesome thing that we're doing. But then with that comes more and more. And it's like, okay, now schools are expected to do everything. And it's like, that's when I get to what I was saying earlier. It's like, we can't fix everything, but we're in a much better place than we were before. It's like, yes, it is my job to see this kid as a whole and do as much as I can for them. But then we kind of teeter over into like, how much am I supposed like, how much is the school supposed to do for them? And how much is like this government's job to do a better job, just like taking care of its citizens. So it's interesting. It's very interesting.
I think a lot of people don't realize is that schools themselves are so like I don't want to say limited, but like there comes like you said, there comes a point where you can only do so much with what you have. And so no, I definitely agree. The government needs to do a better job of funding, especially at protecting children and people in schools. But like,
Right. Like it's crazy the amount that does happen in schools that you don't understand. Like just last week, like we went one of my teammates went with our ENL teacher to one of her students' houses, and the ENL teacher, they were celebrating her student's birthday. There's a bunch of other kids in the house, and then the ENL teacher, while my coworker was seeing her kid, was helping the parents with job applications because they just moved and they don't speak English. They just moved here. So she's helping them with job applications. They brought a cake to celebrate this kid's birthday. Like they're building relationships with kids that aren't in their classrooms. Like there's this whole, and that was all after school hours, which we love to do and we're happy to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like just in that 1 hour long interaction, like the amount of services being provided to a family, like that's it's amazing and that's awesome. But like, why is there not a place where they can go to get non-judgmental help with a job application? And they're doing it all on a phone because they don't have a computer. And so where is that space where a family can go and have childcare while they're trying to get that job application? Because how are they supposed to settle in if they don't have a job? How are they going to get a job if they don't speak the language and they don't have a computer to do the application? Like it's all these things where it's like, look how far back this goes to then all of this impacting this one kid in this one class. Like very strange.
yeah. And I'm glad that as a society we're talking more about how it's not just about a kid showing up at 7:30 and taking classes. It's so many other things at home. And I mean, like even like as a kid and as a counselor's kid, I had like a little bit more understanding of it, that there's a whole lot more going on.
Right.
But no, I mean, like even now, like there's just I'm glad that we're having more dialogue around these kinds of conversations and topics.
Absolutely, because like I love that I can talk about those kinds of things that are happening in our school and that it's not like a taboo subject. Like I don't feel weird or anything talking about the things that go on in our school and the things that go on with our kids. And like I can't imagine talking about these things when we were younger. Like if that was happening at my school, no one was talking about it. Like that is not something that was being talked about. And so it's very I think it's really good that like these kinds of conversations can be had. And it is a good place to start the dialogue to make change on like a higher level of government. And so it's like we're gonna keep talking about the stuff that we're doing and being like, hey, we're happy to do this, but it's also not really our job. So like let's get more resources so that like we have more time to do the things at school, like, teaching math.
Yeah, like if you want teachers to do that, okay, pay them.
Exactly, because all that stuff happens after contract hours and we're going to continue to do it because we care. But like imagine if we could go meet them at a place where they could get all these things done and then we could, tutor the kids or just spend more time with them, like very,
And the solution is there. It's just,
when
you know,
people have to care, like people higher up in government have to care and it's like they're like,
yeah,
well, you just took care of it, so it's like, okay, but also what about my family that's waiting for me at home? What about my stuff that I need to take care of for me personally?
yeah. And what about just your enjoyment of life?
Right. Like it's crazy to me that people have jobs that just end at the end of the day. Like people just leave and they don't like,
Brain off.
obviously people do jobs outside, like people do work outside of work hours. I'm not saying that. And I've had people be like, well, I do my work outside of work. Right. If I don't do my job outside of work, I don't have anything prepared and I will get fired because all of my job happens outside of work, literally all of it, because my work is a performance. And so it's like, no, you choose to do that after, your work hours. I cannot choose to, like, I have to. It's not a choice.
Yeah. And like, I feel like in teaching, there's so much expected off the clock work, like really.
It's
And
like almost all of it. And they take up where I have a 55-minute prep to do all of my lesson planning. That's all my paid time. However, that's me walking my kids to specials, getting them settled in specials like technology, media center, whatever. So that's 5 minutes itself. I have to go to the bathroom, which I haven't done in who knows how long. And hopefully there's not a line because we have one bathroom on our side of the building. So that's another, if I'm lucky, 5 to 7 minutes. Then I need to like, I don't know, maybe fill up my water bottle. That would be awesome if I could do that. And then half the time we have meetings during that time, which is like the required meetings I've talked about where it's like, you know, let's talk about equity and race. And I'm like, yes, amazing. However, you're talking about things I can't solve. You're
yeah,
talking about things that are systematic from decades and decades and hundreds of years of inequality. And it's like, I do need to check, my biases and I need to think about that. What you're talking about is not that. It's about things that I can't solve. And so you're spending my time to get my job done, making me feel bad for things I can't control. And then you're like, wait, why didn't you get that data entered? Why didn't you plan that lesson? Like, why didn't you send me the things I asked you to send me? And it's like, when was I supposed to do that?
literally when.
Take up all my time. So when was I supposed to do all the things you want me to do?
No, no, it's a completely unfair standard. And I'm just gonna speak from this from like a side that I can. So like as an openly queer man, like there's like homophobia is just so enriched in our society. And I say this, I get so tired of like gay people like bothering like just people who are working. Like, don't get me wrong, like I've dealt with homophobic bosses, teachers, all that stuff. Like I get it. But this Starbucks worker is not gonna solve decades of homophobia. Like
Right. And it's like there's a line of acknowledging people's identity and supporting people's identity and not being,
hmm,
homophobic or not being racist or anything or misogynistic. And it's like, absolutely, there's a standard. But sometimes I feel like we use a certain thing as a scapegoat when there's much deeper issues that need to be like, no, you need to go to your representative for this because like I can't do that. Like I can't solve the things that you're asking me to solve. And it's like I people like to throw around, especially in schools, and I hope that this doesn't get misconstrued by anyone listening, but like my kids, racist is a buzzword for them. They call, like, if they're mad at me because they're in trouble, they call me racist. Like they, and not just me, like all teachers. That's happened to most teachers in our building. If a kid's mad about something and they're getting in trouble and being held accountable for behaviors, that's racist. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Do you understand what you're saying? And then it's like we have to have a whole conversation about like what that actually means. And I'm like, let's handle your emotions. Do you actually feel that way? No. Okay. Do you actually feel like I'm being exclusive towards you in this classroom, which I have 3 white kids in my class and the rest are a multitude of different races? Like, do you actually feel like I'm being racist towards you? And no. You can talk to the social worker if you feel that way. I don't. Okay, why were you mad? Because I got in trouble. Like, okay, you can't just yell that I'm racist because you're in trouble. And it's like, I think a lot of that comes from that happening where it's just like racist. And it's like, no, the system is racist. Go talk to your representative and fight for equal housing and fight for equal job opportunities, because I agree the system is racist against your family. I
Oh yeah.
agree. I can't fix it though. And
Yeah.
me telling you not to curb stomp someone on the playground is not racist. You just shouldn't curb stomp people.
Yeah.
That's just the rules.
I say this as though like when some minor inconvenience happens, like, oh, the homophobes at it again. But
Well,
like
it's
it's
like
always
we
joking.
say that in a way like you're not in your place of work or you're not in, Starbucks and being like homophobic,
Yeah.
all of you, because you didn't let me cut you in line. Like, things like that. That's where, like, I'll say that in my head for sure. I'm like, oh, you hate women if you don't let me cut you, obviously.
You
But
hate
like,
me.
but like in all like a serious way. And I also like this makes me think about too, like I'm Hispanic. I did not grow up in a Latin American country. Like I did not grow up speaking Spanish because funny, the system. My dad did not want us all speaking Spanish because he experienced so much stuff from being very obviously Hispanic. You look at him and he's Hispanic. Me, you don't look at me and you automatically know that I'm Hispanic. Like we didn't grow up speaking Spanish. Like I didn't go through all the things that all of my, like cousins and uncles and aunts and dad did. However, I still am, and I'm, you know, that is part of me that I'm proud of and that I try to learn a lot about. But on job applications, they have you mark that. And I got flagged for being Hispanic. And then they found out that I actually do speak Spanish. Like, you can be Hispanic and not speak Spanish. I speak Spanish. Then they find that out. And then it's like I'm this token Hispanic person at the school. And I'm like, nope, I'm just here doing my job. Like I will tune into that when I'm feel like I need to, and I speak Spanish to my kids who speak Spanish. I'm not here to translate for you. Do not call me when you want to call a parent and talk to them in Spanish. Do not invite me to this dinner that the township is having of all the, educators of color and like the Hispanic educators and all these things. It's like I see what you're doing, and it's not celebrating who I am. It's showing that we're diverse. I'm like, that
Oh,
I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in you using me as like, and they do like, we have this many teachers of color. We have this many Hispanic teachers. We have this many, like, it's like, no, 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 no. Like that is not what I'm here for. I'm not here for that. I'm here to teach, and I will, tap into my heritage when I feel comfortable doing that. And so it's very interesting how much that's like at the forefront, but it's like, it's performative, like what you're doing right now.
yeah.
And it's losing meaning. It loses meaning.
Yeah. No, not performative. Paying teachers.
That's action. Then I'll let you invite me to all those dinners.
Oh, then we'll show up. Then we'll show up.
Then I'll do it. And you know what? If you gave me a free t-shirt, I might show up anyway. So
I
I'll call back.
the callback. We love a loop. But no, like there's a difference between celebrating and showboating, and that's showboating.
Yep. And
But
that's like just it all goes with the things not meaning anything anymore. Like, that's why I brought it up, because we were talking about, people calling things homophobic, racist, misogynistic, and it's like that's all surface level. Like we need to get to the deeper issue, and it's like, okay, you want to hire, worker like teachers of color and teachers of different ethnic backgrounds. It's like, don't do it because that's who we are. Do it because we're valuable educators. Like it's you
Yeah.
should just hire me based on my merit.
Yeah. It's I say this and then like this is controversial, but don't hire me because I'm a queer man. Hire me because I'm capable, talented, good at my job, who just happens to be queer. Like
Yes.
it should be like the last thing that's even considered at all, if anything.
It went from don't not hire me because this is who I am to also don't hire me because this is who I am. Hire me for my qualifications and then continue to keep me on board when you find out who I am as a person. Like
Yeah.
that's where it all comes from. It's like it shouldn't be part of your hiring process. Like
Yeah.
any negative, positive, anything. Hire me because I'm qualified to do my job.
Period. And I hope what I say doesn't get misconstrued. Like I feel like at times America is just so good at being racist that even when it's quote unquote highlighting diversity, it's essentially just showing them off like property in a way.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. That's exactly it. And it's like you went too far the other way. Like it's still you're still being what you were being before. It's just in a different way.
And I'm hoping like this doesn't get misconstrued because obviously we need diversity in the classroom, we need diversity in the workforce. That's just a fact. I just don't agree with how employers quote unquote are supportive of diversity, but it's just all performative. I need action. And I just feel like until we get there, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing is the best way.
I agree.
And I recognize I'm a white man, so I have a lot of privilege in that saying. So take that with a grain of salt. But I don't know. I just don't know if we're doing it the right way.
Right. And that's dialogue that we need to have of like, okay, is this way we're going about it really what we're supposed to do? Because if you feel, if I feel like the token Hispanic person at my school, I just feel like that's a problem because I am Hispanic, but not like no one's looking at me on the street and being like, whoa, Hispanic. It's like I speak Spanish and I'm from Hispanic descent. So it's like, oh, here she is, how do you feel about Cinco de Mayo? And I'm like, I just
Not the Cinco de
Friday,
Mayo.
so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Not the Cinco de Mayo. Oh my gosh. Let's go ahead and take a little break.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
We back again. But no, I agree. Like as a gay man, again, I don't think there's an easy solution because we definitely need to address and talk about these things and we need to have dialogue. But at the same time, I don't want to be tokenized and I feel like companies don't want to have I say companies, but like employers as a whole don't want to have that dialogue because it's uncomfortable, because it's unfamiliar.
Yep.
And it requires a lot of work. And so they would just rather tokenize, which in some ways is good because like at least they get recognition.
Right.
But at the same time, it gives this false sense of equality and equity that I really don't think is there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look what we're doing. And it's like, great. I appreciate the effort. Like the effort is there. And for a lot of places, I don't think they realize they're being performative. Like it's like, I feel like a lot of it's with good intentions and people don't realize they're doing it. And it's like, okay, this is just the next step in the dialogue. Great. You're trying. Here's what it's coming across as. Let's figure out a solution. And honestly, I don't have a solution really. Like we can't like, okay, maybe we should take race off of like applications, like maybe, whatever, but really it just comes from societal acceptance, I think, and like the deep rooted like racism and misogyny and homophobia in society. And it's like until we get to a place where it's not quite so like labeling of like oh, that person's acting like this, or oh, I'm getting nervous because this person looks like this. Until people aren't feeling that way, I don't feel like it's never going to be perfect
Mhm.
because society is never not going to not be like that. But it's like, we need to keep making progress, and progress comes from having like non-judgmental conversations. And I think that's the root of it, is like, it's hard to have a conversation and not be worried about someone taking your words as like a lot of things I've said, I get nervous to say things to people like that, because it's like, okay, well, I don't want you to think that I am racist. Like, I don't want you to think that I am this way, because like that's not what I mean. And I like, it's nerve-wracking to have those conversations with people because you don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah, and like I feel like that's like another issue too. I feel like the reason why, and again, everything that I say is coming from like a queer perspective, so I get it. Like, we need more perspectives, and that's another thing. We need to have more dialogue. We need to have a safer space, because I feel like people don't want to talk about things on the fear of offending people or saying the wrong thing, which you should be always mindful of what you say.
Right.
But if done respectfully and just from a place of like wanting to understand and do better, we have, as like society as a whole, we have to culminate rooms, times when we can have those difficult and awkward conversations.
Right. And we need to be able to have them in a way that it's like, okay, like I'm going to say these things, you know, that they're coming from a place of like, here's my perspective, here's what I'm thinking. And it's like, you know, you're gonna like, you know, things, you're gonna offend people. And so that person needs to be able to say, like, hey, that really like hurt my feelings, that really offended me. I heard this when you said this. Is this what you meant? And it's like, oh my gosh, no, like I totally see where you're coming from. But it's like, it's at some point in there, it stops. You know, you might have a conversation and someone says, like, and this is a general you. Someone's like, hey, that really offended me and hurt my feelings. Here's what it sounded like to me. Well, then sometimes the other person will be like, well, you're just being sensitive. And it's like, okay, well, now this conversation's over. Or you say something and the person's like, you're racist. And then the conversation's over. And it's like that we can't, like, we're not understanding each other. And it's like, there's no room for like mistakes in conversation. You're either too sensitive or you're racist. Like, there's just not room for any of that.
No, there's got to be dialogue, and like I will sit down with my friends when they do or say something homophobic, because I believe that you can do homophobic things and not be homophobic. Because again, it's just so ingrained in our society. It is. And like, unless you're actively taught how to be anti-homophobic, you just naturally are. Like not on purpose and not with intent, but like it's just so ingrained. So if I'm going to someone and be like, hey, like this is kind of problematic, and like when you say this, I hear this, and this is what it comes off as. If they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm so sorry, like I won't do it, I drop it immediately.
Right.
Like, and that's the thing. Like for me, if someone shows genuine remorse and change into like their behaviors, I don't hold it against them, because I mean,
That's how we move forward. That's how we get better. Like,
we have to give people the chance to grow. We have to. I'm
for
a
sure.
firm believer in that. I mean, I know I've grown, I know you've grown. Like you actively have to unlearn the harmful things society teach you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And and I hate that like that's like a controversial or take, because people are like, and I don't know what it is. Like I feel like today people are so scared of like exposing that they messed up, that it'll ruin their whole life, that instead of addressing their harmful behavior and growing, because it's either like, oh, do I try to be a better person, or do I keep the job that keeps my family fed?
Right. Right. And
It,
there's no room for growth. Like, I we're just such a labeling species. We label everyone. You're this way, so you're acting like this, or you did this, so this is who you are. And it's like, just listen to each other. just, just listen to people and just get to know them for who they are at that moment. Listen to how they've grown, listen to how they're different than they were before. Like, just it's just wild, just crazy.
and I know I don't speak for anyone, but I'll always give people the opportunity to grow. If they choose not to do that, then
Then,
then
yeah,
then I will. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I know I've definitely messed up and said the wrong thing, and
yeah.
people gave me a chance. And some of those people are like some of my best friends in the world, and I would just hate it if I missed out on a relationship like that because I didn't give them a chance to grow.
Yep, absolutely.
Um, oh, look at us. I'm so intelligent conversations.
Cute.
Much better than our beverage companion conversations. No, I'm gonna tell an Ireland story. I'm gonna tell an Ireland story. So we were in a hotel room. Our first night at the hotel of Ireland. We literally had an overnight flight from Newark to Dublin. And we arrive at the hotel and Alex and I are wired and we're supposed to be going to sleep. And they don't watch this podcast, but Alex had a little bit of beef with her roommate, so she's so she spent the night like in my room.
I forgot about that. Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember this. I remember.
And so she was like, "Oh, I'm coming." Didn't even tell us that she was coming. She brought her suitcase and was just coming into like my
Yeah, I'm moving in, so
and I was just like, okay, cool. We chilling. And Alex, I don't know what happened. Like someone said or did something, but like Alex was like, I'll sleep in the tub. I don't care. And so instead we were just like, okay, let's have a party. So then we hooked up Bo's speaker and we started playing Gasolina. And me and Alex were like into it. We were like, do it. And Bo was doing his journals like a nerd. And then he got a text or a call or something, and the music stopped, like mid chorus, like it stopped. And Alex looked over at Bo and said, "You misogynistic shit."
hates women.
Hates women. Hates women. And she goes, and Bo says it like, "It's not my fault. It's like Siri or like something like a
Yeah.
feminine name." She's like, "I hate pick me bitches." I was like, "Girl, what's going on?"
Oh my God.
And I
Wild times.
wild times. Ireland was such a fun time. I
Thank
I miss it so much.
you.
If any Irish single gay men who are attractive, send in photos too. I'm kidding.
Apply below.
I'm kidding. Unless
Well.
not the side eye that they can't see. Oh my gosh. But no. Well, Alex, we're kind of wrapping it up here, but there is one question like I wanted to ask, and like we kind of talked about it briefly, but actually no, I'm gonna ask a different question. Now I've changed my mind.
Okay.
If you could go back in time and tell your younger self when you started teaching or like when you decided on like teaching was gonna be like your path, like officially made it like your path, what's like the one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
Um, I I would probably tell myself, and I made the right choice. And so it's not like if I had told myself this, I would make a different choice, but I didn't realize I had made the right choice until this year. Like I thought I had it bad. I would tell myself to choose your school based on the administration, the likability of your administration, and the team you're going to be working on. I'm in that exact spot this year. Last year at the same school but on a different team, I I thought that with my administration I was like, well, like they aren't handling this well. Like I don't really know if I like this. But the thing about my administration is I can tell them that and I can have an open conversation with them about what's happening in our school and not be afraid that they're going to ostracize me or fire me or tell me I'm a terrible teacher. Like our administration is all about growth and with themselves and with us. And I would have quit by now if that were the case. And the same thing with my team is I have a very close and open communication relationship with my team this year. And that's made all the difference in the world. Like last year, the days that I felt like I wanted to quit and thought that I really could, this year, those days happened. They're very few and far between, even on my worst days. And it's because I have a team and an administration that I can lean on and everyone's kind of open for, you know, difficult conversations, kind of like how we've been talking about. And so that's what I would tell myself. And that's the advice I would give anyone that's going into teaching is like, that's why you pick your school. You don't pick your school on anything else other than the support you get from your administration and your team. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. I think that's so important. And like, especially like in America, you spend a lot of your time of your life at work.
Yep.
You have to like go where you feel supported. And I'm so glad that you have that. Like, that's awesome. And we're out here giving y'all advice for free.
You're welcome.
My Venmo is.
Link in the show notes.
GoFundMe is that.
I do have a wedding, so
They charge us.
for having to listen to you talk.
This free platform. Oh my gosh. Alex, I just wanted to thank you for hopping on the pod today and spending some time with me in your busy, successful, grown-up, planned adult life.
Thanks for having me. I'm so glad I got to do this, and I can't wait to like listen to it all put together.
Yeah. I think this episode will probably drop Friday.
Okay.
I
I'll clear
edit
my schedule.
quickly.
I can't go to work today.
It gets banned. It sees like our names are on there, be like, no, it's been removed.
Okay, that sounds good and amazing. And I'm so glad that you had me on here. And I get to go continue on my evening and pick up my sister from dance because what else would I be doing tonight?
The life of Alex Wible.
Important. Nothing important.
Well, I love you. Be safe, have fun, and try not to lose your mind.
I'll try not to. Love you too. Thanks again.
All right, give Dylan and everybody my best, will you?
I will.
And to everyone at home, thank you so much for joining us. And remember, as always, keep it semi-professional, and you don't get paid enough. Goodbye. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.